welcome.
And the
Good.
president, of
Thank you
course.
so much.
Good to see you here.
It's wonderful to be here. How are you, my friend?
Great.
Good to see you.
Good seeing you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much. Thank you. Man, great to see you, brother.
We're glad to have you here.
Absolutely. It's great to be here. Thank you so much. Shalom. President Perez, Prime Minister Netanyahu, and most of all to the people of Israel.
תודה רבה על קבלת הפנים הזאת, אומר אובמה.
This is my third visit to Israel. So let me just say, Tov lehiyot shuv ba'aretz. I'm so honored to be here as you prepare to celebrate the 65th anniversary of a free and independent.
אני נרגש להיות כאן, עוד מעט הם חוגגים 65 שנה.
On this land I walk with you on the historic homeland of the Jewish people. More than 3,000 years ago, the Jewish people lived here, tended the land here, prayed to God here. And after centuries of exile and persecution unparalleled in the history of man, the founding of the Jewish state of Israel was a rebirth, a redemption.
אובמה מדבר על חשיבותה של מדינת ישראל אחרי עשרות שנים של רדיפה כלפי העם היהודי.
Fulfilling the dream of the ages, to be masters of their own fate in their own sovereign state. And just as we have for these past 65 years, the United States is proud to stand with you as your strongest ally and your greatest friend. As I begin my second term as president.
ארצות הברית גאה לעמוד לצדכם, לצד מדינת ישראל. אנחנו בשידור חי בערוץ 7. אנחנו לא מתמללים את כל הדברים שאומר הנשיא אובמה, כי השידור מועבר גם באתר באנגלית.
Bring both promise and peril. So I see this visit as an opportunity to reaffirm the unbreakable bond between our nations, to restate America's unwavering commitment to Israel's security.
אני רואה חשיבות בביקור הזה כדי לחזק את הקשר בינינו, את הקשר הביטחוני, כדי לשמור על מדינת ישראל.
By answering a question that is sometimes asked about our relationship. Why? Why does the United States stand so strongly, so firmly with the state of Israel? And the answer is simple. We stand together because we share a common story. Patriots determined to be a free people in our land. Pioneers who forged a nation. Heroes who sacrificed to preserve our freedom. And immigrants from every corner of the world who renew constantly our diverse societies. We stand together because we are democracies. For as noisy and messy as it may be, we know that
אומר אובמה, אנחנו עומדים לצדכם כי יש בין שתי המדינות הרבה מהמשותף. אנחנו מדינות דמוקרטיות, חופשיות, שמאפשרות את חופש, מאפשרים את החופש לכל אדם.
Our partnerships in science and medicine and health bring us closer to new cures, harness new energy, and have helped transform us into high-tech hubs of our global economy. We stand together because we share a commitment to helping our fellow human beings around the world. When the earth shakes and the floods come, our doctors and rescuers reach out to help. When people are suffering from Africa
יש
and
מטרה
Asia,
משותפת לשתי המדינות לעזור לכל אדם בעולם באסונות טבע שונים, שיטפונות, רעידות אדמה. רופאי שתי המדינות, גם ארצות הברית, גם ישראל, עומדים לצד העולם, לסייע לעולם, לכל אדם, בכל אסון.
of an Israel at peace with its neighbors. So as I begin this visit, let me say as clearly as I can, the United States of America stands with the state of Israel because it is in our fundamental national security interest to stand with Israel. It makes us both stronger. It makes us both more prosperous. and it makes the world a better place. That's why the United States was the very first nation to recognize the State of Israel 65 years ago. That's why the Star of David and the Stars and Stripes fly together today. And that is why I'm confident in declaring that our alliance is eternal. It is forever. Lanetzah.
Or pay a heavy price. And the line that's been a recurring joke among a lot of women, which is now a serious business. Nightly News begins now.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams.
Good evening. In geopolitical terms, the president is spending the night in a dangerous neighborhood. There is no such thing as a routine presidential trip overseas, and tonight the president is overseas on a very cautious trip. He's in Israel for the first time as president. The timing isn't uncommon. His predecessor, George W. Bush, waited for the last year of his second term. Presidents Reagan and Bush 41 never visited as president. This trip was never supposed to be about breakthroughs, more like showing the flag, solidifying relationships. But even that is fraught in what's been an at times rocky relationship and in what has always been a dangerous neighborhood. It's where we begin tonight. Our chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel is there, and our chief White House correspondent Chuck Todd starts us off traveling with the president in Jerusalem. Chuck, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. Well, it has been a busy first day for President Obama here in Israel, and while the trip itself is designed for the president to improve his personal relationship with the Israeli people and the leadership, on this week of the 10th anniversary of the Iraq War, we have the President of the United States talking very seriously about military action taking place in two new countries, Iran and Syria. It was the president's first visit to the Holy Land as president, and Israel rolled out more than just a red carpet. But it took a while to get rolling. Car trouble for the presidential limo. It was quickly replaced with a backup. Mr. Obama is eager to use this visit to reset relations with a longtime ally.
We are following the red line, sir.
Following the red line. Okay.
You can see a man.
We have this tendency of red lines all the time, right? Red lines. He's always talking to me about red lines.
It may have been a joke, but those red lines for Syria and Iran are deadly serious business for both leaders.
We have been clear that the use of chemical weapons against the Syrian people would be a serious and tragic mistake.
The president did not confirm whether chemical weapons have actually been used in Syria, but he clearly didn't believe some initial reports.
I am deeply skeptical of any claim that, in fact, it was the opposition that used chemical weapons.
On Iran, the two leaders took pains to show a united front, with the Israeli Prime Minister agreeing with the president that Iran is at least a year away from developing nuclear weapons.
I'm absolutely convinced that the president is determined to prevent Iran from getting nuclear weapons.
And I will repeat, all options are on the table. We will do what is necessary to prevent Iran from getting the world's worst weapons.
It's been a difficult 4 years between these two, but today they seem determined to put that behind them.
Let's get you in the middle. The rose between the thorns.
And neither leader missed a chance to charm the other.
I think that people should get to know President Obama the way I've gotten to know him.
It may seem like a fresh start, but there was no breakthrough on peace with the Palestinians, despite what the president told Brian just 5 months ago.
When I go to Israel, I want to make sure that we're actually moving something forward.
But the hope remains that an improved personal relationship will lead to the prospect of a renewed peace process in a very dangerous neighborhood. Chuck Todd, NBC News, Jerusalem.
I'm Richard Engel. Israel sees the world just beyond its borders collapsing. The war in Syria, the renewed war in Iraq, Hamas in charge in Gaza with new rockets that can reach Tel Aviv, the Muslim Brotherhood running Egypt. Israel hasn't ever been popular in this neighborhood, but now its enemies are at the gate and angry. The Arab Spring uprising has become a threat to Israel, so it's sealing off its borders. In the Sinai Mountains, a 150-mile fence is going up along the border with Egypt. 20 feet high, thermal cameras, razor wire. When it's finished, it'll run all along Israel's border with Egypt. Israel is quite physically walling itself off from a neighbor. it's had a peace deal with for 3 decades. Israel still has a peace treaty with Egypt, its biggest Arab neighbor, but it's not taking any chances.
This is the fence itself.
Made of
You
what?
can see- Steel, exactly. And you can see all the way above, it's like knives.
It'd be very hard to climb. You couldn't grip
Yeah.
onto it. In northern Israel, yet another fence is going up along the Syrian border. It's not far from the Soroker family home.
We know that the whole thing is going to explode in our face at some point. And it looks like it's going to be soon.
Israel is becoming a fortress. Fences along the borders with Egypt, Lebanon, and Syria. More fences around the Gaza Strip. And a massive wall along the West Bank. A country the size of New Jersey with more than 500 miles of barricades. Israel is shutting out the Arab world and shutting itself in.